Hello again. My name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. We're going to use this opportunity to use YouTube here to go ahead and do a brief explanation of 90-day reporting and how it pertains to non-immigrant visa holders here in Thailand. When we're talking about 90-day reporting and when we're talking about non-immigrant visas and basically this issue as a whole, this really only pertains to those who are physically present in the Kingdom of Thailand on either a non-immigrant retirement visa, non-immigrant education visa, non-immigrant business visa, non-immigrant spouse visa. There are other types of categories such as the media visa and some other sort of specialized categories that may require 90-day reporting, but for purposes of about 90% of the, maybe even more, 99% of the people who are, or the foreign nationals who are physically present in Thailand on a non-immigrant visa, we're basically talking about retirement, education, O status, which is marriage or child being a Thai, and business visa status. To be clear, 90-day reporting does not pertain to multiple entry visas. Multiple entry visas are granted 1 year. Multiple entry visas are granted with a status validity of 1 year. The person holding said visa is allowed to be physically present in Thailand for 90 days at a time at each entry when they come through immigration throughout the year in which their visa is valid. So those kind of folks, the non-immigrant multiple entry visas, those folks have to do a quote-unquote border run every 90 days, and they don't do 90-day check-ins. Something of a difference there. Those who are physically present in Thailand on a visa extension in B status, O status, retirement visa status, or education visa status, those folks are going to have to do a 90-day report. They have to actually physically go, or someone has to take their passport to immigration, have all the forms filled out that basically states that their address, what their current address is every 90 days. This was basically designed to ensure that those physically present in Thailand, the records of the residents were kept up to date with the immigration database, so that immigration knows where you're currently living in any given 90-day period. There are those who find this system to be a bit trying, and although I would argue that maybe 6 months would be a little bit more convenient for the foreign national and probably would go ahead and fulfill the same function, this is the system with which we're having to deal with. It's been like this for quite some time, so 90-day reporting, it looks like it's here to stay. It doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. There are fines involved for those who don't do 90-day reports. Notably under the statute, it's currently 2,000 baht if you don't do a 90-day report. It should be noted that with respect to 90-day reporting, if the individual in question holding the non-immigrant visa exits the country prior to every 90 days, then that individual doesn't actually have to do a 90-day report. It seems to me that the system seems set up that basically immigration wants that individual checking in with immigration in some way every 90-day period. So if you want to go ahead and do a border run and travel outside the country and basically, you know, check in with immigration that way by checking out, checking back in, you can go ahead and do that. Meanwhile, the same can be said for multiple entry visas where they have to leave the country every 90 days. They're checking out with immigration every 90 days. But if you remain in Thailand, if an individual remains in Thailand on a non-immigrant visa extension, then as part of remaining, one of the responsibilities of remaining is that you have to go ahead and check in every 90 days and fill out the forms that explain where you live, etc. Even if your address doesn't change, you've still got to go ahead and check in every 90 days. Now, to be clear, with respect to visa extensions, it should be noted that if an individual does travel outside of the country in a visa extension status, if they do not obtain a re-entry permit prior to leaving, then their visa status will effectively be canceled if they leave the country without first obtaining a re-entry permit. So those who opt to say, I don't really want to do 90-day reporting this time around for whatever reason, I'm going to take a vacation anyhow, be aware that you need to go ahead and check, make sure you've got a re-entry permit. There's another video on this channel that speaks directly to the issue of re-entry permits. So I would sort of leave it there as far as reentry permits go, but it's something that's sort of pertinent to this issue. To sort of sum up what we're talking about here, those who are in extended status, so they get a visa extension as opposed to a multiple entry visa, those extended folks, they're going to have to check in with immigration every 90 days if they don't leave the country during the 1-year period in which they get, or 2-year period, depending on the kind of visa extension they get. They're going to have to check in every 90 days in order to maintain their compliance with relevant Thai immigration regulations. It should also be noted with respect to Thai permanent residents, and there's another video on this channel regarding Thai permanent residents. Thai permanent residents are not basically covered under the 90-day reporting scheme. They have a different system. There's a red book. There's a whole different scheme that pertains to permanent residents. So those folks are considered immigrants. They're in a different status under Thai immigration law or under Thai immigration regulations. And for that reason, this video basically doesn't apply to those with Thai PR. So again, sorry, I'm summing it up another time, but non-immigrant visa holders, so we're talking EDs, retirement, business visas, and spousal visas. The 1-year extended folks, the folks that are getting 1-year extensions, those folks are going to need to check in every 90 days with immigration if they do not leave the country within that 90-day period. If you leave the country, it effectively starts over the reporting requirement. So you leave the country within 75 days, boom, when you arrive back in the country, then your 90-day clock starts ticking from that moment forward. It should be noted, the retirement visa, the 10-year retirement visa that's being sort of discussed at the present time, and there is another video on this channel regarding that. The current 90-day or the current 10-year visa scheme for retirees looks like it's still going to require 90-day reporting. It's my understanding that the elite card, the folks that have the extended business visa status pursuant to the regulations pertaining to the elite card, those folks are also going to have to do 90-day reporting as well. It's my understanding, though, that with respect to the elite card, there's sort of a different, more fast-track system with respect to 90-day reporting. So again, be aware that 90-day reporting is a requirement under Thai immigration law. If you're on a multi-entry visa, and you will see that on your actual visa when it's issued by the embassy or consulate from which it's issued from, it'll say number of entries, and under that category there'll be an M. This doesn't apply to you. You're in multi-entry status. That's a different situation entirely. You have to leave every 90 days, and effectively, as far as the Thais are concerned, as far as Thai immigration is concerned, that is basically the same thing as doing your 90-day reporting.